I'm Jordan Denise, and I get the opportunity to have a sit down with Caleb. He has a few things going on, and we want you all to get to know him better and get to know what he has coming. So, do you have any words before I ask you all these questions?
Just check the album out. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Okay, so to start. All right, so what brings you here to this juncture? Like, how did this all start with you being an artist? Give us a little bit about who Caleb is.
Well, I've been playing drums since I was 3 years old. My dad is a drummer, so it was just like, let me see those. Let me see those real quick. And I really just kept with it. Even in high school, middle school, that's all I wanted to do. I just got my associate's degree in music, so it's just really like my whole life has just been patterned in music. So I'm like, why not actually make this a thing versus just something that I do?
Yeah, something that makes you money and gives you a livelihood at the same time. So with that being said, I know you play the drums. Is that the only instruments you play? Has there ever been a time where you're like, let me try? You know what? The drums are cool, but I want to try that piano up here. You know what I'm saying?
I'll probably say about 16 I started playing piano.
Oh, for real? I was just joking. I was gonna say the guitar because I want to play the guitar. But so you tried the piano, huh?
Yeah. So I can play piano. I can play chords and stuff, but none of that like crazy stuff.
Okay.
I play bass for real.
Okay.
And I produce, but.
Okay. So musically, with you playing the drums, with you being a musician, you said you went to school, you have your associates. When did you get your associates? What made you think, oh, let me go to school for this? Because there are people who don't go to school and they're making the same, they're getting in the same bag. So what made you decide, let me go to school for this?
Well, actually, I just got my degree. Yeah.
Okay.
What
a win.
But, I don't know. I think I was just looking for like a foundation. Because like you said, I know I could play and I could do everything that I'm doing now without it. But it was like, why not?
Yeah.
I was in a space where, it's not like I dedicated 6 years into school. I just dedicated 2.5.
Right.
For it. So if I want to finish out my degree, I can. And if I just want to say I'm done, I'm cool. I can say I did it.
Yeah, and you actually got it done.
And I actually got it done versus, let me do 2 semesters. That's it.
Right. So what do you do now? Like, for me, what is your bread and butter now? Like, you play the drums, you're a musician, but what do you do now?
So right now, it's really just getting ready for the album.
Okay.
So basically a couple weeks before, months before, I basically produced, wrote all the music. I have my good friend Rufus Ferguson. He helped me arrange all the music too.
Okay.
Last week we just got in the studio, we cut all the music, and this week we doing some overdubbing and stuff like that. That's really been my focus right now. Just really kind of got my producer hat on.
Okay. So with producing, that's a different hat than just, getting behind there and, banging it out, getting your sounds right.
Yeah.
So what is it about producing? Is it producing for you, producing for other people? Is it just producing? What is that about? Like, is that something you love to do? Is that something that's like, this is for the now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel it's for myself, but also other people too, because I want my music to help and heal people in a way, even if it doesn't even have words. Like, I want somebody to listen to my music or even my drum covers and be like, I needed to listen to this. And then for myself too, because it's like a spiritual thing for me, so it's like something I can give back. It's like, it's cool. It's like, I can do something amazing. You know what I'm saying? Or I can do something great. Do it well. So that's why.
Okay, so looking at an album coming out, is this the album, like you just mentioned, with or without words, is this the album that's just straight, instrumental, straight music? Or is there words in some of the songs?
So there's like 2 songs, like I would say 1.5 songs with words.
Okay.
But everything else is just music. Yeah, so it's going to be kind of like jazz fusion.
Okay.
So,
okay. And what has been your response as of late? Like, you put out music before, I'm guessing, I'm hoping that you know, blessed the world before with some of your music, and what has been the response to it? You know, do you feel like your response has been dope enough, or do you feel like it can have some more exposure and you can really touch more people? Like, what's your feels on that?
Yeah, so like the things I've been posting, I've been getting like a lot of reactions out of it.
I've seen them on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely. And people are like, yo, and a lot of people come up to me like, yo, we're excited for what you're about to do. And I'm like, shoot, I'm excited myself.
Yeah, like it's exciting.
I'm excited just to see how everything comes together.
Yeah.
And have like a final project, you know, because I have a lot of people really helping me out, which is dope. You know, I have a couple people working on my album art. People help me get into my BMIs. I've had like 8 people help me in the studio. As far as my band, just everybody is just like, it's just basically a big production. So exciting.
Just exciting all around.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty dope. That's a dope thing. And so with us being in the time we're in, you know, we're in a pandemic. We're supposed to be in quarantine. We're cheating. No, I'm just playing. But you know, we're in a pandemic. We're in a state, you know, in a state where people can't really come and go as they please and do what they normally do. So, how has that helped you? And then also, how do you think, if at all, how has that hindered you in creating this?
Right. I have a lot of positives actually.
Yeah, I thought you would. It's a focus piece, really. But yeah, I want to give you the chance to tell us, like, how has that helped you, man, like, in this time?
Yeah, because I think before, I was probably gigging about 3-4 times a week. I was in school full time, maybe playing at 2 churches. It was just a lot of things going on. So, like, I really had a couple months just to sit and be still.
Yeah.
And be like, alright, I'm gonna do something different. And then especially after a while when you just sitting in the house not doing anything, it's like, I just felt like it was time now to do this. It was just time now and don't wait on it. Because you know, a lot of people wait till, well, it's quarantine, or yo, this ain't right, or I don't got all the money for it, or all this. But it's kind of crazy how when I start pushing for it, everything can.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, spiritually, you know, I believe in God. I'm a Christian, but from what I understand, your gift makes room for you. So is that what you're saying is what happened here? Your gift made room for you here.
It just made room for me. And like anytime I needed something or any advice or stay away from something, it was like always there.
Yeah. So with the album, what else is coming along with the album?
What do you think?
Like, what else is coming along with the album? Anything else? Like, once you put the album out, then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, then what's next for you as an artist? Where would you like to see the album go? You know what I'm saying? So what comes with that? What can we hope for? Can we hope for post-pandemic? Let's cross our fingers. Can we hope for like a show? Can we hope for like, you know, different collaborations? What are you looking for this to do?
So my plan is I really want to perform this music because since it's a lot of instrumental music, it's like you don't really get to, you're gonna see the full effect of the album, but really hearing it live and getting that energy, I think it's something totally different. So far as that, I want to continue to push that, and even if we can't play live, do like live stream shows. And really do like a full set of just hot music. But as far as myself, as an artist, I want to continue to put music out maybe every couple few months. I don't want to like shove music down people's throats, but also I want to be consistent too. Show people my versatility. Because right now this is a jazz fusion album, but I love hip hop. I love.
That's where I started seeing you at the hip hop shows down here, downtown Flint. I'm like, dang, like he sitting on stages doing stuff here. I had never really seen that before in the hip hop, you know, in the hip hop lane. Not in person. You know what I'm saying? I would hear different instruments on the, you know, on the track, but in person it's like, okay, so that's where that came from. That's where that noise comes from. Okay. And that was pretty dope to actually see a face, you know, see a face to it that's not like some random Joe that we'll never know his name, we're never gonna see him again, because I will see you there and then you will be like present everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's dope also. So okay, I'm trying to think of one last thing I can just get you out here. So what else do you want to push in this outside of the music? I know we talked about the music. We talked about a few things before we sat down. So what's something else that you want to make sure that people know to look for and know to give you some, love on?
Really I can kind of talk about the album. So this album, even though it's musically, I feel like I put my heart and soul into it. It's really like a lot of things that I went through in these last 2 years, including quarantine, so like really this music was for myself, but also it's for somebody else. I hope somebody really like come through and be like, yo, like this music really helped me, or yo, I listen to this every day, or even if it's just like I just love this outro of this song and I listen to it every day. Like that's a win for me, So yeah, I just want people to just if you support me, just like, comment, subscribe. That's not too much of a hassle. I know sharing might be too much, or buying my stuff.
Buy it, invest in this.
Yeah, but go ahead and invest. I'm trying to be I am a legit artist. Yeah. Some musicians are like, I play and I do stuff, but they don't have trademarks. They don't have they ASCAP or EMI or websites or doing stuff. So also me doing this is I want to be kind of like a catalyst for a lot of younger musicians and older musicians. Like, get on your stuff. Like,
to show them, to educate and not belittle.
Yeah, and I don't know everything, but it's just the fact that I'm actually reaching out to people to get that information and to make myself legit. Get your LLCs and all that stuff. So I really think it's going to be a win-win-win situation.
That's amazing. That's good. It's good to see. I know there's a lot of young people in the city, out the city, wherever your music could reach, who would want to know, how do I do this? What do I do here? That they able to see you doing it, man. I think it'll be a big deal. It'll be enough for them to be like, how do I do it? For them to get them going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I appreciate you having me, asking me to do this, man. And I just wish you luck. I'm watching for everything at this point. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm ready. I want to hear it all.
We in there.
Yeah, man. All right, so that's us. That's a wrap.
Peace.
So I guess my question here is going to be, as someone who does music in the church, you do the drums for a couple different churches, as you mentioned. How does that feel to branch off into what you're doing? You know what I'm saying? Is that rough for you, or is that just something like, no, this is a part of my gift? So how does that feel for you?
Right now I feel like it's just a part of my gift. Before, when I was younger, I was kind of conflicted because I'm like, I don't know if this is right. I don't know if this is, but I think when you're playing uplifting music, you're playing music that actually reaches people and makes people feel good. I think like that matters. If you're playing music or you're you're rapping or you're doing anything or you're demeaning people or you're really giving off a total different vibe than what you need to, then I don't believe in that. So I think even especially instrumental music, there's a scripture about how David played for the king and basically his attitude totally changed. I know he wasn't playing glory, hallelujah. You feel me? He was playing maybe some orchestral music or whatever it is to change his mood. So that's my philosophy on that.
Yeah. Okay, and so with you being an artist, a musician who plays, music that is, percussion or a jazz fusion, like you would say the album is going to be, how do you feel about that? Did that scare you or, kind of deter you from making that album? Or is that something that you felt like, it don't matter? Like, how do you feel about that? I'm sure other artists who play, who play certain instruments want to do it, but they're, kind of anxious. So did that scare you? And if it did scare you, how did you get to this point?
It's always scary when you're doing like a big project like this and your name is on it. It's just like you're building something, or let's say you build a car and it's trash. It's gonna be all over the place. Like, nah, don't buy that, or nah, don't do this. So that was kind of like the scary part. But I believe when you have the right people in your corner and you don't have yes men in your corner, then you should be straight, because they'll tell you, be like, nah, change that, or nah, you blowing it.
Yeah.
Change it. So go after your vision, but have the right people there with you in the right timing. And take your time. Slow and steady wins the race. That's what I say all the time. Slow and steady. Because I feel like if I would have rushed it and finished it at my timing, it wouldn't have been as good as it is right now, for sure.
Okay. That's pretty dope,
Yeah.
And then even for just something different is always hard. When you're trying to break the mold on something, it's really hard. People don't always take to that really quickly. So kudos to you for even thinking like, yo, I can do this, and actually I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to do it. I'm about to push it. I'm about to make it happen. So right. So what advice would you give somebody watching this, or somebody just watching you, about doing this? Like, what advice would you give them? You gave a few gems, but what specifically would you tell a young boy or a young girl who play, an instrument, but then they want to be heard in the way of an album? What advice would you give them to run with?
Slow and steady wins the race. And
first things first.
And really do a lot of research on everything. If it's your religion, money, really just getting good habits. Really, you should start getting into good money habits. Start getting into if you want to pray and read your Bible every morning, every night, get into those. Really consistency, because all this is really consistency with your social media, making sure you're in the studio, keeping your contacts, making sure all your money and everything is set for this and that. Because you can just have talent and just be like, all right, cool, I'm about to do all of this, but how can you sustain yourself? How can you sustain the music getting pushed out? And if you have a band or you have people in a team, how can you sustain the team and keep the team rolling and keep them going? So that's the thing. A lot of younger musicians, I try to encourage them in their money habits. Yeah. Especially in our community, we don't have good money habits.
That's where it's
like, I'm finna buy this car, man, or I'm finna do this, or I'm finna do that. And they basically kill themselves before they even start. So, if you $20,000 in debt, why are you trying to make a $5,000 album? Yeah. That doesn't make... You could do it, but it doesn't make financial sense. Yeah. Or if you're trying to do this, or your priorities are in a totally different lane, it doesn't really make sense. So, again, that kind of goes back to listening to older people, and if that's financial advisors or whatever it is, just to change your whole mindset. Because if you go into this like thinking, yeah, I'm just gonna do this, I'm just gonna do that, you're gonna get beat up one way or another.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, in this, being a musician, playing your instrument and actually producing and pushing things forward, that can be pretty heavy. That's a huge call on your life. There's a lot of things that come with being a musician and having that kind of power. Yeah. So what keeps you going in this? What keeps you motivated to keep doing this?
Honestly, I don't know. Because some days I'm like, oh my God. And then some days I'm like, ooh. I kind of treat music as it's something that I can give to people. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like my worship in a way. So it's like something that I can push out, and then that's it. I'll leave it on the altar, if you want to say.
Yeah.
But also but when I'm not in that lane and I'm at home, I treat it like love in a way. Like, I don't want to beat my drums down. I don't want to play so much that I get tired of it all the time. Mm-hmm. I want to actually play and be like, I like how it felt today, or ooh, I like that, and leave it there.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm not the guy that, I practice with the lights turned off and I blindfold myself and I play for 20 hours a day. Like, nah, I don't. I think you stop loving things after that. Once you get tired, you get tired of something. That's not me.
So what's the balance in that? Like, you know, you say you leave it there. You know what I'm saying? So what's the balance? Because I do understand doing it all day, it becomes a chore, right? It can feel like this is something I have to do. But with you treating it like love and then self-love and self-care, what does the balance look like? So when you're not, you know, at home playing and this is how I love it, like what are you doing to balance that?
Well, I'm getting into other hobbies.
Okay.
That I really like to do. But learning how to say no to people too. Because, you know, people, like
that
you said,
self-care.
You can always go and, oh yeah, there's 4 churches that called me. So-and-so want me to come over there for the weekend, do a weekend of shows. Now this week you got this, and that. So then it's like, again, it goes into more of like something you have to do. Because you, of course, you want to hold your word, especially if you said you was going to do it. Yeah. So if you're already busy, then when you get home, try to work on your own stuff, you don't feel like doing it. And then you're forcing yourself. So it's really learning how to say no to people and getting into other things that make you happy, other things that you can work on. So, you know, when you come back home to that, you know, you have that space.
Yeah. So with that being said, you said you got into other hobbies. You don't have to tell us all of the hobbies that you got into, but what is at least one of the other hobbies that you don't mind sharing?
Well, before quarantine, I was getting into bowling. I was in the bowling league and everything. Okay. And quarantine took that out for me.
Yeah.
It was like, no more of that.
No more bowling.
So, definitely, once that kind of opens back up, bowling is definitely a thing that I want to get back into.
Okay. That's something you start to like. I can't get bowling. I can't get the ball to curve. And I'm bad at that. So finding other hobbies is your thing to create that balance.
Yep, hobbies and learn how to say no.
Absolutely.